What's up, people? Hotep Jesus, we back.
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Hotep.
That shit will never get old to me, dog. Never get old.
That's a classic clip right there. What's up, people? I have a wonderful presentation lined up for you tonight. Actually, it's not even me. I'm just the host here tonight. I brought the geniuses on, our local experts, our in-house experts who are able to thank you tonight. I did receive that. What was that? What was that? Cash App? You just sent me a Cash App?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. Breaking bread tonight.
So it's Venmo.
Venmo? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That works too. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're talking about the topic of alopecia. The reason why this topic came across my desk is obviously because of the slap heard around the nation this week. Will Smith went on the stage of Oscars, the Oscars Academy Awards stage, and smacked Chris Rock upside his head after he made a G.I. Jane joke talking about Jada Pinkett-Smith's hair. And apparently Jada Pinkett has alopecia. I can neither confirm nor deny these claims. However, we know that there are, and this is where I'm going to defer to my guests, it seems like alopecia is something that is plaguing the Black community. Yeah, no? Is it all races, or specifically the Black community, especially the Black community? What's going on here with alopecia? Where y'all finding this stuff occurring? Women, men?
Well, I think first, let's take the cuteness off of it. It's just hair loss. It's hair loss. That's all it is. It's hair loss. So we don't refer to it. Men experience this as well, but you don't see anyone even with the Academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a joke made about LeBron and his hairline. So LeBron has been the butt of jokes as far as his hair and his hair loss since forever.
Right.
Been totally fine. That's normal. Nothing to be, alarmed about. Male pattern baldness is what it's considered. It's the same thing. It's simply hair loss. So the question is, what's happening in the body where the hair is shedding and why? Right. And that doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. And obviously something is happening because we're seeing a lot of women experience it. Mm-hmm. And as we talked about before, I grew up in the creamy crack age, the heavy. I was on it heavy myself. I was trying to push the envelope to see what if I did it every 4 weeks. Would my hair fall out?
This is the perm you're talking about here.
The perm, right.
Mm-hmm. The creamy crack.
And so spent a lot of time in hair salons, spent a lot of time in the church. This is what it was, hair. Everything was about hair, getting your hair done, chemicals. With all that being said, I do not remember, and I'm talking personal experience, ever seeing the amount of hair loss and hair damage that we're seeing right now. The question is why?
So let me stop you right there. I have no problem in the hair lane. As you can see, my shit luxurious. Tanei is looking luxurious, but Rook, your hair is looking extra luxurious. You got that good hair, as some people say. What is your secret? You got your edges is laid and the texture look good. And so what is your secret? Because last time you was on here, somebody said, is her hair fake? Is that a wig? Is it weave? They accuse you of having fake hair. We need to know your secret.
Okay, first of all, no. All right, I've never worn wig. I never liked it. I never liked the idea of something being on my, like, covering my scalp and suffocating it. Okay. So I've never worn fake hair, never liked it. It just wasn't my thing.
Okay.
But one of the my wake up call at the peak of my health failing, my wake up call when I thought I was healthy, right? So I'm in the gym heavy. I'm eating, following what I think is mainstream healthy, lean meats, you got your veggies, little dairy here and there. Like I'm doing the things, not heavy on processed food. My wake up call was when them edges started thinning. I said, oh, baby. Oh, girl, you in trouble. Don't no woman want to see her hair thin, especially start losing them edges. But that was a wake up call that no matter how healthy I think I am, no matter how good the outside is starting to look, the arms is toning up. Okay, don't matter because the outside is a reflection of the inside. So I had to take a deeper look. Ain't no, oh, this running your family. Ain't no, well, it just happens at this certain age. No, ma'am, no, sir. What is going on in my body? And there is a not only physical body, but a spiritual body. So I got to check both of those. And that took me down another interesting journey, to really getting into, everybody's stuck on the surface. Everybody's stuck on a Band-Aid. Let's slap something on. I've done the things. Oils are good. I recommend them. It's cool, right? Work the outside as well as the inside. I like it. But what is actually happening? As you mentioned, when we look around and see 20-year-olds, why is your hair falling out at 20 years old? What's happening here? And everybody ain't just eating hot Cheetos and oodles and noodles. Not everybody, right? Yeah. So for those who are, let's just say you averaging, right? You ain't too over the top with your diet. You maintaining, you making sure physically you doing certain things. What's going on underneath the hood? LeBron, again, for an example, what's going on underneath the hood?
Tanei, you would agree, right, that this is a hair loss situation and something is happening inside the body, or?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Because the interesting thing that I see too, working with a lot of people with hair loss, a lot of my clients are very young, and it's really interesting that you got cats that are 22, 23 years old, some even younger than that, some starting in high school, already having a receding hairline. And one of the things that's changed a lot about the environment now has a lot of exogenous hormones in it that can disrupt that hormone balance that you need to actually maintain healthy hair growth. So I think that's one of the biggest things, especially with like the plastics. And I was just reading an article earlier this week. Some scientists, this is the first time that they found plastic floating in the human blood. So that's a very serious thing when you think about how the purity of the blood helps with everything else that you see. Like a lot of people tweet or have said before, skincare is the inside job. Hair is the same way. Everything that's manifesting on the outside of your body is a reflection of what's going on the inside of your body. So I would say that alopecia at its root is just inflammation of the scalp. You have inflammation that's localized in one spot. It's choking the follicle, and the follicle can no longer maintain proper nutrient supply to the hair to actually grow it from the root. And then you combine that with demineralization of the scalp, and also stripping the oils out of the scalp too. The oils in your hair protect the shaft as it comes out of the follicle. And if that's missing, then your hair becomes brittle. And at that point, just regular wear and tear can break it. So I think that alopecia is a reversible condition. You do the right things to reduce the inflammation in the area, and you can get some good things going. But there is definitely something going on in the environment. And with a lot of the things that we consume, the air, the water, all those things are a little bit just not as conducive for hair growth as they used to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, our friend here, dear Dr. Tanei, has ultimate hair regrowth regimen. I have tweeted the link out. If you check my Twitter, you'll see the link there. I'll also post it here in the chat, and I'll also post it in the description box for anybody who would like to get themselves get their hair follicles right. This is a hair regrowth regimen, and you can use promo code Hotep Hair for 25% off. Hair regrowth regimen, right? Promo code Hotep Hair, right? Now to get them right tonight, 25% off,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep, 25% off. Everybody that's seen my hair is before, I rarely ever do sales. So this is probably the only time that you be able to get it for 25% off. Most time it's on like 10 or 15. So, but we in the home team, we showing love tonight. So
if you don't want to look like G.I. Jane,
because all of y'all ain't got wills. Y'all ain't got somebody that's going to go slap somebody for making a joke about you. So you got to protect yourself.
Yeah. And Will, don't smack me. That wasn't a joke on Jada. Don't smack me. Miss Rooks. Miss Rook. Are you seeing the same thing amongst your clients? Because you deal with clients and health. Are you seeing hair loss? Are you seeing it amongst the same age group that he's talking about? He's saying he's seeing it amongst young people. Are you seeing it amongst young people, older people? Is it spread evenly? What are you seeing in your line of work?
It's everybody, but what's more shocking is those on the younger end. Two things that are critical: hair loss, inability to reproduce. Wait,
have babies, you mean?
Yeah, and that can be on both sides, like fertility issues, erectile dysfunction, 20 years old, 30 years old.
Right.
So the bigger picture for me is that we are out of order. I keep saying that. Like, this is disharmony is what you're seeing. And why we're seeing so many women with this issue. Anybody could just randomly like hashtag probably hair loss maybe on IG, and you just go down that rabbit hole. Now, of course, there's several different types of alopecia. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. So tension is one. So all of what we're doing to the scalp, the pulling, the braids, the glue, the suffocating, it's skin. These are cells that have to breathe. No other part in your body would you think about if you break your arm, or like at some point in time that you need some air, you need circulation to get to that skin. If there's a burn, there's a changing of that. Okay. Same thing applies to the scalp. So, and even though let's talk about even the natural side. Okay. And I can talk about this from my own experience. When I say natural, with the ladies who, like the wash and go, you just keep it in this natural state. We're putting so many products on our hair that are clogging up the scalp. And now they have this, what is it called? No poo shampoo. Essentially, you're never actually cleaning the hair. The idea is that you don't want to clean it too much because black hair, you strip the oils or whatever, but you're never actually cleaning. So all like this, and we're just looking at this from a physical perspective of what can be happening at the scalp level. And I'm always wondering when I see these before and after pictures with some of the hairstylists, what do ladies do when you first see the hair start to thin? What is your first response? Now, let's go back to, Darth Jada and talk about, and listen, as a woman, right? As a woman, nobody, like our hair, we can try to pretend like hair doesn't matter. We can try to pretend like it's not significant. For humans in general, like there are men right now that's struggling like, bro, my hairline, what in the hell going on?
Talk to them all the time, all the time.
Like I need, like this is a real thing. So we got to stop pretending like, oh, well, it shouldn't matter. Well, it does.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, you can't allow it to totally paralyze you. But if you go back about 4 years ago, maybe, One of the things that Jada talked about was she started to, her hair, she noticed she was in the shower, started noticing the hair shedding in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a warning. Symptoms is your body's way of communicating to you that there's trouble on the scene. That's your warning, red flag. I should pay attention here. Mm-hmm. But what happens? We go to conventional medicine. So she said she started using steroid shots. Now, what is the point of, now when you introduce steroids into the body, what are you doing? There's an attempt to interrupt the immune response. So the idea is that there's inflammation that is causing the hair loss to take place. Inflammation is an immune response. So we're going to bring in the steroids to interrupt that. But as you find out, it's temporary. Right. And then you create so many other, because what do? The body was already in a weakened state, which is why the hair started falling out to begin with. Now you introduce some synthetic steroids, weakening the immune response. So it continued. It continues. So her hair, as you can tell, she's not bald. She's cut her hair. But, you can see that she's had certain spots at the top of her hair that look like it's starting to create little patches, as you normally see in alopecia. But there is no way, this is what people don't get. Conventional medicine can't save you. I'm sorry to tell you. You can take all their drugs, and it's like, how many more drugs you gonna take? These people got all the money in the world. They got access to the best doctors, the best conventional treatment on the planet. They could fly anywhere. How is it that you cannot get a resolution to something such as hair loss? Come on now. And Doc is putting together, Doc is getting results. Come on now. Something in the milk ain't clean, and it comes down to ignorance. We're not understanding what is at the root cause of our troubles, and you can't run from this. Your hair gonna fall out. Your teeth gonna fall out, your nails gonna break, your skin gonna break out. Now everybody got, I'm gonna tell you who's next. And I don't like to really talk about celebrities, but just use the
template
condition, right? Just using them kind of as a prototype. But all the issues that Kim Kardashian was going through, all the psoriasis.
Oh man, yeah.
Right. She's heavy on steroids. The body hits a breaking point at a certain time. It's going to backfire at a certain point. The body will you can keep plugging in and trying to suppress symptoms only for a certain amount of time. And then to your benefit, the body says, what has been suppressed got to be expressed.
Bars. Now you said something about shampoo and poo, and you're not really washing your hair, and that just went right over my head. Can you explain that part to me, where you're saying we're not actually washing our hair? What do you mean by that?
So in the natural kind of movement community, so when everybody started to go back to eliminating the perms, right?
Natural hair, right? Right.
Natural hair, we're saying we want to avoid all the chemicals with the perms. We're going back to just the natural state.
Oh, okay.
So some women do the big chop, where they just cut everything off. I didn't do the big chop. I just kind of let mine grow and naturally just trim it until it eventually all the perm just grew out.
Okay.
And the idea is that the black hair just needs to be constantly moisturized, and that we don't actually need shampoo. I can't remember the name they call it. It's like poo shampoo. And the idea is that you're washing the hair, but it's not really stripping the hair. It's conserving, the oils. Right. Not like a harsh, more shampoo, more so like for thinner type hair, right? The problem with that, and I'm again saying from my own experience, I rep common sense. Make common sense great again. Sometimes this is what I'm asking people to do. You're going to hear everybody talking about everything. Everybody going to say, do this. Nope, do that. Nope, more of this, more of that. Sometimes just get quiet and ask yourself, what makes sense to me? So for me, it was like, okay, I'm like every time I turn around, I'm putting so much product on my hair, so much product, so much, because different, they give you the little nicer curls and it hangs a certain way. You're trying to get a little bit more of looseness, blah, blah, blah. But at what point is too much too much? Yeah. At what point does the scalp need to breathe? The hair follicles need to breathe. The hair shaft, the hair itself. It's you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So just basic things. And that's why I got to a point to where I was just using so much product and having to detangle and just being so rough on my hair. I just relaxed for a little bit. Like, let me settle down. Let me get my hair back to a state where I don't have to do so much to it.
Right.
And we can argue, some would say, well, that's easy for you to say. If your hair is this or that or is that, you got to decide, man. You pick your battles of what is or what isn't. Again, I understand what women are when it comes to hair. The hair thing is sensitive. Right. I get it. I really do understand that. So it's hard for me, even when I see some of these before and after. Well, some of these beauticians, man, I'm like, good God, they coming from the heavens. I don't even know how they're able to, but they're still using chemicals, though, to get these ladies, with a style that can help them kind of get out of the wigs, get out of just the covering of the scalp. Many, some of these ladies been covering their hair for 10, 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. So it's just wisdom, and you got to take care. There's just basic, these new beauticians, I had to tell my daughter, like, stop paying these little rinky-dink like these chicks. I'm with the hustle. I get it. I love anybody that's on the grind and figuring out how to make some money for themselves.
Right.
But you paying so-called beauticians that's telling you to wash your hair before you come. What? Like part of, like, you need that scalp to be clean, to be stimulated.
Yeah.
Like just basic things that aren't happening. And, a lot of us have done damage to our hair. I think that's we skipping out on. And even celebrities and entertainers, think about what is done constantly: the perms, the bleaching, the dyes, nonstop. At some point, depending on what else you're doing, you're going to see the result of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have joining us university professor, organic chemist, and PhD, Dr. Tanei Ricks is joining us. Tanei, tell me, what do you think are some of the causes that are making this hair loss come out among some of the people you've been seeing? Because some people are saying, oh, it's stress. Like, people just say, oh, it's just stress. Right? What do you think some of these causes are from a biochemical level, I guess?
So the five most common, I'm trying to remember all of them. It's not going to be in a specific order, but one of them is genes. Genes is at the bottom of the totem pole, though. Everybody thinks genes is the end all be all for hair loss, and it's really not true. It's like, oh, you get your hairline, your granddaddy hairline was bad, your daddy hairline was bad. That means your hairline gonna be bad. That's not true. I mean, a lot of it, it's like other stuff that runs in your family. Like, it's not really running in your family. You have some kind of genetic weakness. You don't know what that weakness is, but at the genetic level, it can be solved. Like, you just have to do a lot of deep work with it. Toxins in the environment, either from the food, pesticides, herbicides, things like that. Stress actually is one of the top 5 causes of hair loss. Stress at a biochemical level can cause inflammation, and that can have some effects on hair loss. Those are only 3. Those are the 3 I can think of right now. But in the hormonal changes. So you have a lot of these synthetic hormones in the water supply, especially like birth control. I think that's one of the silent causes of hair loss a lot of people don't think about. But you have to think about how much of this stuff is going into the water supply, and the average water treatment facility doesn't really have the tools to remediate it. So you have all of these extra hormones in the water that you don't really know what are what's doing. You don't know how much concentration is inside of the water supply. And of course, in your urban areas, there's going to be more usage of birth control. So you have more of these hormones, these chemicals building up in the areas that have the least amount of equipment to actually service it. So you have all this stuff constantly floating around, circling inside of the water cycle. Man, and it's causing a lot of problems. And it's something that I've seen that's just like younger and younger. These guys are losing their hairlines, they're having some kind of crown bald, and I'm just like, all that. And people also don't realize too that where you lose your hair tells you a lot about what's going on in your body. All of the areas of your scalp correspond to organs and organ systems. So if you have, thinning in the crown, that means that there's something wrong with your circulatory system. Blood, you have the blood purity issue. If you have hairline recession is a kidney issue. It's a kidney and adrenal issue. There's a lot of stuff that goes on the scalp that tells you about the weakness that's going on in your body. So, I mean, if you're in tune with that and you know what those things are telling you, then you can start to address some of those issues.
Girth Brooks, thank you for the super chat. He said, when are we going to talk about Appalachia? So last night, this is how this conversation came to be. Last night during Hotep's Been Told You, Uncle Hotep couldn't read the word alopecia. He kept calling it Appalachia. He's out here talking about when we gonna talk about Appalachia. Let's talk about the racial aspects, and then we're gonna get into solutions, and we're gonna get out of here. Keep this high and tight tonight. Tanei, I'm pretty sure you're dealing with mostly Caucasian men, black men, or
mostly black men. Mostly black men. I have a mix of all kinds of people though. Like if people have hair loss, they come to me. I do free consults, things like that, to even assess first of all if I think you should go on the regimen. Because a lot of people that try to go on it, I mean, you just have to make a couple tweaks here and there. And I'm very honest about that. Like I don't want anybody to spend money on something that, if you just do one or two quick changes, then you'll be fine. But yeah, it's pretty much for everybody. But the majority of the people that I work with are black.
Okay. Ms. Rooks, talk to me about the difference between white people hair and black people hair, and maybe as it relates to hair loss, because you did mention before about black people don't really, like we said, wash our hair because we can't strip it of the oils. Talk to me about this concept, because it's something that sidesteps me.
Well, I honestly, I don't think I think it's at the lower part of the totem pole, to be honest. These are just some things that I've seen from the physical side because there's this debate that there's this argument of whether or not how much the fake hair and the wigs are playing in alopecia. And of course, in traction alopecia, you can see it. I mean, it's the crown of it. When you take this stuff off, this is where you see it happening, right around here.
Where you put the glue on.
Yep.
Right.
And which is just, again, for me, like common sense. That's just bizarre to me. The whole glue thing, I don't want glue on the edge of my hair, and I don't want it on my eyelids. I don't want it there. It's very strange to me. Yeah. Whatever. Do whatever you want. This is what I love about life. Rock however you want to rock. The only people that I talk specifically to is those who are saying, I don't like the results I'm getting. And to those people, I say, well, let's start digging in then. Let's look at this through a different lens. But aside from the physical thing, so I don't really think white, black, I think that I don't really want to get into that, honestly. Like hair washing, how we do that, some of that is, and I'm talking for those who may not understand what I'm saying as far as hair washing on the natural side. I'm just saying that component of clogging up the hair, right, plays a role. On the fake hair side, there are some women, and speak to beauticians. Don't take my word for it. Speak to the women who are seeing. They're pulling some of these things off. Just because you may not do it, or the people that you know aren't doing it, they're pulling these. People aren't like washing their hair in 3 months.
Right.
It's just we got it matted down, it looks good, the little, whatever it is, and we go. And so think about what other part of your body doesn't hit water for 3 months. So part of what is happening in the hair, why do these oils work? Why do the rosemary, peppermint oil, tea tree oil, your oregano oil, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antibacteria, part of washing, part of water is a cleansing. There's a biome here. So we're not there's a disruption of what should naturally be happening. So on the physical side, that does play a role. But I think when it comes to Black women in particular, our problem is beyond that. No. This is internal. This is internal. This is the war that we are at with life. This is the war that we are in with men, which essentially puts us at war with ourselves. And that is being reflected through hair loss. That is being reflected through not being able to conceive children, which that's divinely orchestrated. So you got to take that up with something greater than I. That, I think, going back to what Tanei said, stress, but it's 3 types of stress. We got to look at the chemical stress, toxicity, what's going on, what are we bringing in our body? But more importantly, people forget, this is not only a consumption game, an elimination game. So you can bring in all the vitamins you want. You can bring in all the good nutrition you want. If the door's not open for the waste to get out, you got a problem. So one type of stress, chemical stress. Second type of stress, physical. And that goes back to how are you treating the hair? What are you actually doing to the scalp? But number 3, this one right here is enough. You don't even need the other 2 because the number 3 is emotional. Emotional. I don't care about no genes. You know why? Because epigenetics tells me that there is but one switch that turns on the genes, and that is perception. So until we move beyond the physical, and I'm all for talking about the physical, I help people physically get themselves back together, right? Physically know how to take care of the body. But until we move beyond the physical and understand that emotionally and spiritually we're out of order, that every cell in the body is a battery. This is a flow game. Your hair ain't growing because there is obstruction in the flow. Energetic obstruction, obstruction of proper blood flow. You can't talk about nutrition. You can't talk about nutrients without talking about the liver. You can't talk like that's what's handling so many of the productions of vitamins. Liver. You can't talk about absorption and nutrients without the gut. Right? You can't talk about proper lymphatic flow without talking about the kidneys. And then most important, nerve flow. So we stay in a state of stress. We stay in a state of stress. There cannot be proper blood flow. You should be able to activate, like when the body needs to be in a stress state, there's a time for that. But when we stay in a perpetual state of stress, the body will reflect that. No, your hair ain't gonna grow. You can go and get whatever you want to get. It ain't gonna grow, Jack. And you're gonna see it get worse. And you go and take pharmaceuticals, which attempt to suppress what the body was trying to communicate to you, what was happening on the inside. So, the ladies, I dig in the ladies a little bit because one word on the street is that men don't get to say anything to the ladies, that y'all don't have, the right to speak on that. So last time I checked, I don't know though, because what is a woman these days? I don't know. But according to an old birth certificate, maybe that's valid. I don't know. That I can speak on certain things that we got to get in order. It ain't the man. It ain't the system. It ain't it's you, sis. And until you're ready to put that responsibility back on yourself, in the gene, running my family type junk, who did it start with?
Mm.
Why don't you ask that? Because when you go back to, was it your mama or your grandma or your great grandma? Find out where did it first start with. Because I know it didn't start if you go all the way back 1,000 years. So what turned that thing on? And you better figure out how you turn it. Like there's a reading. There's a reading that happens. Everything is in your body. Everything that can create illness is already in your body. The question is, will you turn the switch on or leave it off? That's what people got to get back to. And for the ladies, that's what we got to get back into. And this warring that we think we are at with the world is causing severe issues with our health, particularly with our hair. I mean, I think in 10 years, if you're able to grow your own hair and produce your own children, boy, you're going to be top dollar stock. Like, woo!
Yes.
Woo!
Yes. I agree with that. I said that on Fresh and Fit. I said natural women are going to come back in style, like real heavy, because right now you just don't even know what a woman is. Staff Colonel said, speaking of glue, someone tag Gorilla Glue Girl. Shout out to Gorilla Glue Girl. Martian Hotep, thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah, that was wild. The shirt. Somebody asked about that shirt you had on. You have on Rook.
Mm-hmm.
That's yours?
It is. Rookisms. Rookisms.com is actually down because I'm updating it. Rookisms. Rookisms.com.
Rookisms. Okay. Yeah. Opening soon. All right. So that's a 1-on-1 and some to come. Y'all gonna have to look out for that. Rookisms.com if you want that shirt. I'm definitely gonna have to cop me one of those. That shit fire. All right, so we're gonna start to wind down and talk about solutions. Tonight, Ricks, we're gonna talk about your hair regrowth regimen in just a moment. I'm gonna let Rook go, and then we're gonna, because obviously we want to sell some product today, right? It's grifting
the grift
season.
Never stops.
In the name of hair growth,
So, before we get into that, do want to let you know we have the hair growth regimen. Tanei Ricks has cooked this up in his laboratory, and that link is in the description box below. Use promo code Hotep Hair for 25% off. That link is in the description box below. 25% off, promo code Hotep Hair. Make sure y'all go get that. If you're having any issues with your hair loss, or know a friend that has a hair loss and you want to come and rescue them, and you want the science behind it all, we got it there for you. Shout out to Faith Thomas in the chat, dropping some gems in there. I appreciate you. So Rook, talk to us about some things you would do to resolve this problem. I know you touched on some already. I know you mentioned oils and you mentioned the body, but how would you go about? And I think I know where you're going to go with this, but tell us.
Well, first and foremost, because I saw someone mention something about like a genetic condition. The first thing is the mind. I always start there. Like, it's what you believe. If you believe that there are limitations, if you believe that there are, well, it can work for other people, but for me, if you believe, like studies have shown that your thoughts alone, negative thoughts, can create the same effects as chemotherapy. So if you believe that there are limits, if you believe that, well, I've tried this and I've tried that, my doctor just said that it's pretty much nothing I can do about it, and I'm okay with that. And I'm not being funny at all. Like, you got to decide what works for you. For me, I just wouldn't accept that. Every single person, almost damn near in my family, health, terrible. Some are in the process of working on that, which is great. Some are totally, they know it is, but it's like, well, just the way it is. And others, it's, well, I am aware, but I don't know what to do about it. Or let me rephrase that. I know what to do about it, but I ain't willing to do anything about it. So first is the mind. Get your mind right. Ladies, we need to do a whole nother episode just on ladies. Good Lord. Or maybe I could take this to my channel. Maybe like
let's do it. Go ahead.
Get away from toxic ass women. Get away from toxic ass women. Get away from women who remind you of all of what's wrong with the world, all of what's wrong with men, all of why you ain't like you a prep. Like there are people who I know living like they housewives and they're listening to bitter bitches tell them about how unhappy they are. How you letting somebody outside tell you, convince you that your life really ain't as good as you think it is? Like, I'm putting emphasis on this because this is significant. The things that we connect to, like this feminine energy, everybody like to throw that word around, but it's powerful because it's creative energy. And so getting around women, listening to, you ain't got to listen to me. I don't need nobody to listen to me. I got to listen to me. There's the only person who need to listen to me. I share some things. You might want to grab anything that you can take and run with, but opening your gates to information that can feed you. Like, I don't look for anything that I don't want and expect. I expect to feel good. I expect to look good. I expect to be able to turn things around. I expect things to work in my favor. I expect to get what it is that I'm after. I had to stop my sister today. She was going on about, something she'd been looking forward to happening. And, well, this and that. I was like, He was like, I mean, what? Like, I can't. It file on the play. Stop. Like, listen to the conversation that you're having with yourself. This health thing is so much more than just physical. If it wasn't, a lot more people should be all right. And if drugs could help you, a lot more people, almost all of the Americans, majority of population, more than 70% on pharmaceutical drugs. Why aren't we getting better? Why are we getting worse? Why are we going backwards? Why are we seeing illnesses that we used to see in the 80s now in the 40s, in the 30s? What is happening? So first, remembering mind is all. The universe is mental. Whatever you getting, baby, is a reflection of where you are mentally. And
I want to cut you off real fast. On the women topic, you said specifically women have to get away from the bitter bitches. Men too? It seems like what I'm saying, it seems like you put a tremendous power on women. Like if women changed, life would be different.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
what you're saying. Okay.
That's what I believe. I believe that the change starts with the woman.
And you're seeing,
absolutely.
You're seeing, I guess, the feminine energy going in a toxic route.
Oh, it ain't going. It's there. It's there. And it is rooted in women are really acting like, I don't even want to say children because I kind of think it's offensive to children, but it reminds me of being a rebellious teenager. When I was a rebellious teenager, the illusion of freedom was just doing anything reckless. It gives you a high, right? Like, even if you really didn't want to do the thing, like disobeying my mother, like it gave me a rush. Like, you can't stop me. Like, even if she didn't know that I was doing it, like, yeah, I'm doing it. You can't stop me. And it feels freeing. It gives you the illusion of freedom because you forget that with freedom comes responsibility and there are consequences. And throughout the life cycle, what I've learned is that I thought the goal was to free the beast. So many of us are feeling like, culturally, we're feeling like we are breaking out, that we haven't been able to be expressive. We haven't been able to be, God, I hate the word, seen. Like we feel like there's a coming out.
Right.
But we're taking that and using it to promote recklessness. Forgetting that after you free the beast, you got to tame it. That's where power comes responsibility. And that part for the ladies, and I'm speaking specifically to the ladies, like what men are like men, I let the men speak to the men. Now I can have my 2 cents about certain things. Men, you would be wise. You better choose wisely. I'm gonna tell you right now, because we could talk about how shitty men are, but it's some interesting ones out here, brother. I'm gonna tell you right now. And who we're allowing to be in the forefront. Any woman who says, just do whatever you want to do. If a man loves you, and I love how we try to get spiritual with it, because love is like, it's freeing. And your man should be able to understand if you want to suck 5 different penises in a week, you know, if he really loves you for the being that you are. Like this is how we try to spin.
Right.
Like this type of bull crap. And women feed off of it because we're seeking something. We're seeking something that validates us. And the group thing, like, look at the woman, like women start to just pay attention. That's all I'm asking women to do. Just start to observe. Don't make a move yet. Just start to observe the things that are happening around you and the results that people are getting. And then from there, start making some assessments. The power is within us. We are out of order, right? We control access to the good. So, you know, if we want to get technical about this thing, you can, how you complaining? And I'm talking, I love putting me on a chopping block. I've been a dumbass. I've made poor decisions. Anyone from my past, like, I gotta eat that. Now, that was you, girl. You chose that. Like, I don't care how it unfolded. I don't care how awful it was. I had a role in that. So I gotta take responsibility for that. So I don't get to just point like these, and I'm gonna tell you about these right here. No, you made poor choices. That's what you did. So yeah, I put the emphasis so much on women because I think the buck stops with us. And then when we get back in order, I know the power. I thought busting out as a woman was about being loud and showing my ass. Like, you can't tell me I can do, you know, what you can do. I love Dr. Phil Valentine. He's like, yeah, women like to say they can do anything that a man can do, but you can do, he said, women can do anything that they've seen a man do. Think on it. Think about it. Let it marinate in your system a little bit. Like, you will never be a man. You can go take all the hormones you want. Matter of fact, listen, that's a whole nother discussion too. How many people getting jacked up behind? Okay, let me stay focused. Anyway, so ladies, yes, the onus is on you, and you have the power to impact everybody around you. When I swear to you that you can shift the flow in your family, the flow in your environment, just by you getting in order. And you ain't got to beat nobody over the head. You ain't got to rah, like, your presence commands excellence and everybody gets in order. You ain't got to be beating a man over the head. Like, it's his honor, right? Come on now. So 1 is mine. Okay. 2, you got to get the body together. But see, this is what comes down to really being a woman. It takes discipline. Women don't associate discipline. If you have it, well, a woman, what word do you think of? You don't think discipline.
No, you don't.
No, nobody is thinking, yes, as a woman, I desire to be disciplined, but that's at the core of this thing because that's self-control. Why is that important? That goes to how powerful you are. I know I can F some stuff up. I know I'm that powerful. So I got to be mindful of how it is that I'm operating and how it is that I'm moving. I know I can destroy generations. I know that. How I interact with a man, I know the ramifications of that. How I interact with my child, like, you know what I'm saying? So health is important, all right? You can't have mimosas, right? You can't be like all this drunk shit is I don't know how this turned into self-care. that you just drink yourself half to death every night, that's self-care. Again, do whatever you want to do. If it's working for you, I say rock with it. But getting your health together, what are you eating? Common sense. I ain't even telling you how to eat, but processed food, junk food, fast food, that's just the top 3 at the most basic level. Mm-hmm. Right? Handling that, getting the body, cleansing the body, incorporating some sort of cleansing practice is important. You figure out how you want to rock with that. But that requires discipline as well, because you got to bring the flesh under subjection. You got to pull away from the food, which gives us comfort. We found a lot of comfort in the food. Food also are stimulants. So when you pull back from the food, boy, you started like a crackhead. Like, you got to deal with you. All of these emotions start coming up. So getting that in tune, and then how you live in that mind, the body, and the spirit. The spirit is how you live in, how you see the world, how you see yourself. Mm. That's what's most important. Mm. And the idea that the world is just this awful place, that everything is going to shit, that men are just trash and they're getting worse by the day, that no matter what, and I keep harping on this man and woman relationship because it's important. Like this type of bickering, like we all full of shit if we get honest about it. Yeah. Like we all, both sides, everybody coming with some junk. Right. Now, ideally, you want to link with somebody, at least that you have the foundational values and principles in place. Right. And about perfection, because you both going to continue to grow and develop, so on and so forth. But you came from a man. How can you despise a thing like that you are? Do you not understand the energetic implications from that? You will never be in a state of health. Quote me on that. You will never, ever be in a state of true health while you are at war with men.
That's a bar. You will never be in a state of health while you are at war with men. I need a Don DeMarco. Don DeMarco. Oh, man. Canon Hotep says, salute for the call. Shout out to Canon Hotep. Make sure y'all subscribe to Canon Hotep's channel. More great Hotep analysis over there. So we're talking about hair loss today and how to get your hair growing back. Topic came up, alopecia. We have the hair regrowth regimen link in the description box below. Use 25% off promo code Hotep Hair when you purchase today. Once again, the link is in the description box. I also tweeted it out earlier. That's the Tanei Rick's hair regrowth regimen and promo code Hotep Hair for 25% off. We have today here with us university professor, doctor, organic chemist, PhD. I always got to do that. I just got to do it.
It always sounds so official, man. It always sounds so official.
Tonight, tell us, what can people expect from this hair regrowth regimen when they open this up?
Oh man, so it's 10 pages PDF. I have a regimen for just generic hair loss. I have a regimen for specific zone hair loss. If you're dealing with hair loss in a specific zone, got a little plan for you in there as well. I mean, this is an inside out approach. Like a lot of people, when they deal with hair loss, they only deal with, the topical, but I try to look at the topical things and the internal things that might be going on, because again, all this stuff is an inside job at some point. So you have, specialized instructions, supplements, teas, herbs, got the whole 9 yards. Everything that's in there is from a nutrient standpoint, and things that you would need, like the essentials that you need to regrow your hair, purify your blood, get your circulation together. Like, it's not just trying to get your hair growing back. It's really just trying to get your body back in harmony. So that you can actually grow that hair. Cause you look at any other, animal in the wild. I know a lot of times we don't like to think about ourselves as animals, but we are. When you look at any other animal in the wild, hair loss is a sign of significant sickness, and even when you look at, the documentaries, or you see, stuff on like Discovery Channel, they talk about animals losing their hair. They're like, oh yeah, this animal's sick. And it's like, but we never apply that to a human, but it's the same thing going on. So it's just really trying to get you right from the inside and the outside, where we stop what's making your hair fall out and then actively give the signals to regrow your hair again. So People that have clicked on the description box, you can see my hairline used to be busted and disgusted, and now we have the luxurious locks going on. So, I mean, I think I figured something out about hair loss. So, so yeah, there's the proof. But yeah, everything that's in there, I've done myself. I've used on myself. I have tried out on myself at some point, and got a lot of people that have got some really great results on it. So, one of the really good things that I found, especially over the pandemic, was power avocado oil. Avocado oil is so good for your hair, man. It's got a lot of good nutrients. And one of the big things in there is the bioavailable vitamin D, which you should be getting your vitamin D just from going outside, walking around, but in a pinch, avocado oil works really good for that. So that is one of the things I do recommend just on a free base level. It is one of the things that can get a lot of good nutrients, a lot of good texture, good shine to your hair, and get rid of some of the inflammation that might be going on. So if you want one of those free tips, there's one. Rosemary oil is also really good. Tea tree, peppermint, all those things, they will help out. But avocado oil, I've had a lot of good results with clients that actually were regressing a little bit, changed their stuff up a little bit, threw the avocado oil in there, and they got some really good results after that. So yeah, it's a inside out thing, and it is a regimen. It is a lifestyle change. So if you're not ready for the lifestyle change, I don't recommend you get it. But if you want to go ahead and really dive into it, then it's there for you.
Yeah. Toxicity inside the body is going to be revealed outside the body. And sometimes it won't. Martian the Hotep said, what do y'all feel about castor oil for bald spot?
I don't really like castor oil because it's very thick, but that doesn't mean, that's just a preference thing. That's a straight preference thing. I don't really like it, but there are a lot of other people that use it, and they're just, people do just fine with it. But I personally don't use it just because I don't like the thickness. I don't like the texture of it.
How do you feel about that, Rook?
Yeah, it is a good option. So my preference is the same. Just those oils get really heavy. So, I mean, you obviously can do it and just try to, make sure you're massaging it in the scalp area. But depending on, and for men, it may not be that much of a difference if you have short hair, but it is very thick. But it's I like castor oil inside and outside. And that's an old school remedy. You used to get sick, you go get the castor oil, you get a teaspoon of that, and going about, you go to bed. And the next morning, you're good to go. It's a great laxative as well. So if you need your bowels to move, make sure you don't take too much, though. You might want to start out with a half a teaspoon.
Man, that senna leaf, boy, you gonna be in bed for a minute.
But that's the castor oil is a good option. Castor oil is good. That's something you should just have on
just
hand.
On deck. Yeah.
It's good for the liver. Good for, even I've had folks had good results with eczema, using that along with some additional herbal salves is a good one. But like Tanei said, it is messy and it's really sticky. So there are some other options. I do like the rosemary though. The rosemary works good. You can drop that even in your shampoo. Put a couple drops in that. Peppermint oil is another heavy hitter. Potent, make sure that you don't put it directly on the scalp. You want to dilute it. So all of those are good, externally. There's another one that's a good, tea tree. Yeah.
Yeah, the tea tree oil. Yeah, I use that on my scalp. Canon Hotep said, fire conversation with 3 fire emojis. Appreciate you, bro. Make sure you subscribe to Canon Hotep's channel right here on YouTube. Canon Hotep, another Hotep Nation content creator. Akuna is present, says, shout out Rook the Great. Oh yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to Rook. She has a YouTube channel as well. I be on her ass like, when's the next video coming, Rook? I need that in my life. I'm tired of playing the same videos over and over again. Make sure y'all subscribe to her channel. Like, just really, really great content. She's a health specialist as well. You guys got any closing thoughts?
I don't really have any closing thoughts. Not tonight, man. Like I mean, obviously what Rook said, just to kind of reiterate her point, we get these signs and symptoms all the time, and it is a warning sign. And just take the time to think about these signs without trying to suppress them. I mean, because they are trying to tell us things. I mean, our body's trying to tell us things subtly every day. And sometimes we don't think about it as a warning sign because we've been taught to ignore it. But, just sit down with yourself and, those things that people say, oh, just take a pill for that, or, just do this for that. Think about what that's actually trying to tell you. And then just go from there. You'll be able to figure out a lot about yourself from there. And hair loss is no different. There's definitely a root to hair loss. And a lot of times it can be reversed. And a lot of times it can be reversed with very simple changes. But a lot of it is just paying attention to yourself and paying attention to what the hair loss is telling you.
Make sure y'all get that hair regrowth regimen in the description box below. Promo code Hotep Hair for 25% off. Rook, any closing thoughts?
Results matter. Results matter. I'm so appreciative that even at my peak of boastful ignorance, that I had enough sense to say, hey, ma'am, it don't matter how right you think you are. Your results say otherwise. Your results say, so if you're trying to gauge where you are, look at where your results are. Illness begins and ends with you. I'm crazy, so I believe you can cut. It ain't nothing that I don't see limitations. So you could be booty ball on your head. Do you believe that your hair can come back? Do you believe that? You tapped in, turned on. You really then let's go. Let's get that hair back then. That's how I operate. So wherever you want, we at Burger King, baby, you can have it your way. However you like this thing, whatever works for you, cool. Life is offering whatever it is that you desire. Right. That's why I don't trip on some of the madness. It's offering up some of what people are asking for. They're looking for chaos. They're looking for fear. They're looking for panic. And let's tie that into hair loss. When you stay in a perpetual state of fear, a perpetual state of panic and worry. Because what is happening when you put your body in a state of stress? What you're saying to your body is, pull the resources from the extremities. That's not important right now. Redirect that, right? So now proper digestion gets interrupted. So no matter, yeah, you're bringing in good things, but things aren't being properly digested. They're not being properly digested. You know it ain't being properly absorbed. So how can you be an expression of health and wellness when you've interrupted the first critical step in this process? So the flow is where you want to find yourself. How do I get in the flow? How do I become aware of when I'm not, right? How to get in some synchronicity there. That's what I'm after. And that it doesn't mean that you never are in a state of disalignment, but the awareness is the key. And that mind is all, the universe is mental. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So if it comes, whatever the celebrities are doing, ain't really my problem. If you take anything from this, it should teach you that money alone ain't gonna save you. It should teach you that conventional medicine and mainstream medicine ain't gonna save you. All the money in the world and still can't get a solution. Just like homegirl, it's a little girl I like. She's not a little girl. The Keke Palmer said she struggled with severe acne. She put some pictures up that she was going through, what is it called? Polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. Been struggling with this. She said Tyler Perry, I think, attempted to help her over the years. Like, imagine 5 years, 10 years to spend your entire young adult years, something as basic as acne. Come on, guys. Acne? Acne? Like, Come on, hormonally, what is going on? What is going on with the blood? Dirty blood. What's going on with the lymph? Like, these are just basic things. And when you are so close to a thing, this is why you got to get out of the intellectual mind. When you're so close to a thing, all you see is, no, it goes this way and that. Nope, nope, supposed to do it that way. Whoop, supposed to do it that way. Like, we're seeing people now being injured and people are asking for a study. They need a study to prove that people are being injured. You are seeing with your eyeballs. You are experiencing it yourself. But you're waiting for a study? God, you don't stand a chance, sucker. You don't stand a chance. You don't. And, you know, who do we blame for that? Yeah. So, yeah, man, results matter. I just encourage everybody to look at the results that you are getting. If you would like different results, then you might want to look at some different things, consider some different perspectives. The one question that changed my life: what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? I was heavy on a lot of beliefs. They felt so right. Even when it came to being a woman, boy, like, no, rah, rah, we got to stand up. And then it was like a dagger to the gut. Like, oh, what if I'm wrong? It felt so right, though. So ask yourself that. Be sincere with yourself. You are your greatest assignment. This is a journey, man. All of these illnesses, all of these things are trying to draw you back closer to yourself, give you greater insight into yourself. These are lessons. Anything that causes you to pause and look back at yourself is a gift. Now, what you do with that, if you want to wear that shit like a badge of honor, because we love that. We got the race card, we got the sex card, and then we got the medical card. Pull it out. I'm the victim, baby. The big three to Victimville. And what I'm saying is that it's not that we don't lose care for folks, right? We still have compassion for people, but you can't get wrapped up into an identity of an illness name. That's all it is a name. Like alopecia, bro, your hair falling out. Why the hell your hair falling out? Let's talk about it. Like, don't get wrapped up. Now watch. You're gonna see a ribbon for it. It's gonna be a color that comes out. This is what alopecia looks like. Like, it's gonna turn. Like, we looking for saviors. We're looking for something that we can kind of connect to. And as long as we are obsessed with that, pull them panties down and bend over, because that's what's going to continue to happen.
Rook just said the next coming grift is alopecia. The alopecia grift is coming soon. We should be prepared for that. Maybe we need an alopecia regimen. We just gonna name it the alopecia, sell them the same product. Sell the same health regimen, throw alopecia on top of it. Hey, here you go. It's gonna fix your problem.
Hey man, that sounds like textbook marketing to me.
Run them ads.
Add one more page to the document. We out of here. Oh man, Jimmy Das Hotep said, took me a positive mental gain to lose weight, down 100 since May, and my mind was the most important fix. Hotep and Bill Fitness. Welcome, Jimmy Das Hotep.
That's what's up.
That's love. Congratulations, man. I want to say especially, I'm thankful to my guest today, just experts in the field, tremendous, great minds, great voices. Ms. Project Rook. Make sure y'all follow her on YouTube and Twitter. And Tanei, I basically dragged Tanei. And I was like, nah, I'm tired. I'm like,
so I didn't even respond to the message. Like, listen,
listen, I had an interview like not even 30, 40 minutes before that, man. I was just like, oh God, I got another interview today. I'm tired of talking to people this week.
he got 8 jobs like a Jamaican.
Hey man, listen, I need my coins, bro. I need my coins. I was trying to get them.
Well, I hit him, and when I didn't see the group chat, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to tag him directly I tagged directly. He was like, nah, I really feel like. I'm like, don't worry. I got Project Rook coming on. Please, just come on, please. Rook gonna help us out. You know what I mean? So you have to do as much talking. He was like, all right, since Rook gonna be there, I'll be there. So I'm glad to have both of y'all tonight. Thank you for bending your schedule for me for this hour. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to share this stream out with your friends, family. Let them enjoy this wonderful education you got tonight. Shout out to our panel. Make sure you subscribe if this is the first time viewing this content. Hotep and Bill, panel, please hold on 1 second while we close out the show. Hotep and Bill, y'all, love y'all. Peace.
Peace.